Oh, my biddies, how are you today? I'm actually not doing too well. I think I'm coming down with something at that upper back of my throat. Not feeling right. So, not happy about it. It's it's annoying. That's what it is. It's annoying. Oh, where did I forgot to put something up here. Okay, I found it. Sorry about that. Um, Hope everybody had a good New Year. We had a really quiet one. Missed it. We were watching TV and missed the New Year. This is what happens when you're old. You stay home and miss New Year's accidentally. So yeah, it was fine though. Didn't do much yesterday. Um, I don't have a reality roundup for y'all because I was lazy. Actually, I'm trying to find a cruise for my husband to go on, and it's a nightmare. So anyway, we were supposed to go on one this month, and it ain't happening. It is not happening because I can't find one that I know he'll like and isn't like $20,000. $20,000 one's really nice. I'd like to go on that one for sure. But we're not that rich. We're not poor, but we're not that rich. Um, what else? Oh, I won't be here on Tuesday. I have to go visit the vampires. If you know, our dentists are vampires. Seriously, they never age. The man looks the same as he did when I met him 35 years ago. He looks the same. We have all aged and he has not. And every time they moved offices a few times in that 35 years. And every time they moved the office, they were closer to a cemetery until he built his own building. And the back, and if you walk out the back door, there's the cemetery. I think he lives on teeth like a goblin. If you know that. That's a CMONG. Cafe latte reference. The tooth fairy makes her living gathering teeth to sell to the goblins. They like them as snacks. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah, goblins eat baby teeth as snacks. They're also worth money for potions and stuff, but mostly for goblin snacks, I think. All right, I guess we'll get into it. Probably be pretty short today. I don't have a whole lot, because it's the beginning of the month. There's lesser. I have standards. You have to have a certain amount of karma before your post gets read. So I have standards and sorry. They go to the end of the month because it gets better as we go. So anyway, the first post is from Entitled People, and it's entitled "Help Someone from Next Door and Got Hit with Entitlement." Safa Next Door is I think it's an app. Friday, I saw a post on Nextdoor from a woman asking for help with food for her and her son. I reached out because I wanted to help. She offered me $60 on Wednesday as a thank you. I didn't ask for anything, but I said okay. Yesterday morning, sent her a DoorDash delivery, spent $136. Last night, she started texting me saying I didn't get everything she asked for, complaining about missing mandarin oranges and bacon. I have the screenshot showing these items were out of stock and substituted. Don't see any posts with pictures, so I'll leave it out of that. but it got weirder. A few hours later, I saw another post on Nextdoor from someone with a similar last name, but this time it was a guy. The way he wrote sounded just like her, only flipped. He said He was a single dad, the mom died, and he needed help with food and gas. Same town, same kind of story. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not or what, but it felt off. I don't even know if she's going to pay me today like she said, and honestly, it's fine. I didn't expect anything. But the entitlement and weird energy after I helped, wild. Sometimes sometimes you help out of kindness and end up feeling played. Update. I did put in comments, but she did pay the $60. Dazzling Potion says, I'm sorry, this sounds like a scam to get free DoorDash. Save your money. Yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of deleted comments. I don't know why they're all deleted. Someone's suggesting that she's really married and both of them are running a scam, which, yeah, if you're asking for charity and people don't get you everything you want, you have no right to complain. You're asking for charity. You're asking for a favor. No one owes that to you, um, except, the government, maybe. Why don't you try the government? That's why I pay taxes to take care of the poor. um, a lot of people are thinking that guy got scammed. Maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, it's very possible. Okay, this is an update. It's from What Should I Do? And it's an update on wanting to buy a house with my own money, but girlfriend says no. I wonder if I read this already. Hold on a second. I think we might have read this one, but I don't remember for sure. Okay, I guess we didn't. I would think it would be. Oh, remember this one. It didn't even show up with that though. I'm so confused right now, guys. But there is because it's right there. My search is not. Well, that's not working. That's not even finding. That's not even finding the one that I have. Anyway, I don't think we've read it. Okay. Sorry. My search is not working in Google Sheets. I don't know why. Any suggestions would be helpful. Please leave them in the chat or in the comments. I, 29 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 25 female, for a little over a year. We don't live together. She doesn't work because she doesn't want to. She relies on her parents. And I just say, What the heck? No. Things are mostly okay, but we are hitting a big disagreement that I can't shake. I've been aggressively for a while, and I'm saving. I've been saving aggressively for a while. I'm finally under permission where I could buy a small house or townhouse on my own. Good for you. Green flags for this guy. Down payment is mine, mortgage would be in my name, and I'd be fully responsible for it. When I told my girlfriend, she immediately shut it down. She says it's a huge life decision that affects both of us, and then I shouldn't do it unless we're married or buying together. Nope, nope, nope. This is a goal that you've had. Has nothing to do with her. She is not engaged to you. She is not your wife. She is your girlfriend. You get to still make your own decisions. She said it was make her feel like she has no say in her future, and that puts pressure on her to move in on my terms. You need to drop her. From my side, I'm not asking her to pay anything. I'm not forcing her to move in. I see it as a smart financial move and something I've worked for. I don't want to keep renting just because I'm in a relationship that may or may not last forever. I also don't like the idea of my goals waiting for someday. Now it's turned into arguments, and she says I'm being selfish and acting single. Well, he is single. You're just his girlfriend. And I feel like she's trying to control what I do with my own money. I get that it impacts the relationship, but I don't think it means I need permission to buy property I can afford. What do I do? Carnival Billy says if you want the house, buy it, put in your name, make the payments, build credit, bought a house 15 years ago, made all the payments. After the divorce, I'm still living here. Best decision I ever made. Good Resolution says, listen to this genius. Did the same myself. First wife is gone and I have the house still. Making money as a rental. So here's the update. I spent a long time reading through the responses and honestly just got overwhelmed. At some point, it hit me that this isn't just about a house. It's a much deeper issue than I want to admit. I didn't sleep at all last night. Poor guy. I kept replaying everything and realizing how foolish I've been in this relationship. Well, I mean, the fact that she doesn't work, is 25 years old, still living with mommy and daddy, and doesn't want a job should have been your first clue that she's a red flag. She's a walking red flag with a red shirt on, and red pants, and a red coat, and a red hat, a red scarf, red shoes. Everything's red. Around the middle of the night, I had a full panic attack and ended up driving to my parents' house. I woke them up and told them everything. They didn't even know most of this was going on. They've always seen me as independent and assumed I had things under control. Clearly, I didn't. It's okay. Sometimes you need your mommy and daddy. It's all right. It's all right to need your mommy and daddy. It's all right to not need your mommy and daddy, too. I mean, either way is fine. I had to admit some hard truths to myself. I don't really have friends. I was naive, depressed, and had low self esteem. I met the first woman at a local bar who showed me affection, and I clung to that, thinking it was just how relationships worked. Deep down, the reason I was so unsure about everything is because of her lack of ambition and drive. And I hate admitting this, but I'm also at fault. I tolerated it, spent money I shouldn't have. I indirectly encouraged behavior and I wasn't okay with. A lot of you basically gave me the wake-up call I needed. I've never really dated before. I kept my head down and got my computer science degree, landed a high-paying job, and kept grinding. The cost of that was my social skills and emotional awareness. That pain built up quietly, and whenever it surfaced, my go-to solution was calling her over so it would temporarily go away. That's obviously not a long-term solution. I did try therapy before, but I didn't feel comfortable with my therapist and ended up dropping it. After last night, I realized I need to try again with someone else. I called her in the late morning and asked her to come to my apartment tomorrow. Actually, meeting up in a public place like a park might be a better idea. I'll change my plans for an important discussion. I'm going to break up with her tomorrow. I need today to calm down, collect my thoughts, and stop spiraling. I'm still moving forward buying my house soon. This whole thing hurts, but I feel like I'm choosing myself instead of avoiding discomfort. Good for you. Letitia Hammond Cheese says, good for you. You made a really mature and informed decision. This is not respectful, compatible, or sustainable relationship. Don't back down. You'll feel remorse at some point, but stand strong. Yeah, good. That was a good idea, OP. It's you need to break up with this person. Um, she she has no ambition at all. Like she's 25 and living with mommy and daddy. For Pete's sake. I mean, it's okay if you're 25 and living with mommy and daddy, but she doesn't even have a job. She should be working and trying to get her own independence. Good morning, Lauren, baby. She says happy brunch, everyone. I think I'm getting sick, by the way. Our next read is malicious compliance. Tell me to shut up and do as I'm told, okay? Not again. Yeah, I've been sick like 7 times in the last year. Now it's only 6 though, because one of them I already recovered from by this time. Well, except for what day? What's the date today? 2nd. Nope, I was not yet recovered because I was still couldn't laugh, cough, or sneeze without my ribs hurting. Yeah. So 2 more days before I was fully recovered from the first sickness last year. Fun times, fun times. 2025 sucked, by the way. All right. Next, we have malicious compliance. Tell me to shut up and do as I'm told. Okay. This happened a few years ago, but it still makes me laugh. I used to work at the family owned restaurant in a tourist town. The staff was moderately okay, but the whole we're a family mentality should have been my red flag. So, starting out, we had a 40-ish male manager that had worked there since it opened 13-ish years ago when I first started. Mike was an okay guy, a bit tense, and honestly not one for small talk. His assistant manager, Kelsey, however, was a bit of a bitch. She worked there for 9 years and took at least 10 smoke breaks a shift while the servers were not allowed to go outside to buy but one at a time. And only for a few minutes, she would stand out there all day and kick us off our breaks if she wanted one. One day I'm filling up ketchup bottles, and we usually marry them like pouring one into the other. All restaurants do this, by the way. It's not a new concept. I don't think they're supposed to be doing that. Kelsey sees me and berates me, stating it's a health code violation. I need to fill small ramekins for to go every time. Obviously, that's some BS. It's been a standard chain restaurants to marry bottle to bottle. Yeah, but it's still a health code violation, dude. It's still a health code violation. Should not be doing that. Good restaurant doesn't do that. The next day, I see my coworker marrying bottles, and I mentioned what Kelsey said to me, and Mike overheard and said I should shut up and do what my manager tells me, even if it's different from others. So Sierra can marry bottles, but I have to waste time to fill tiny ramekins. Bet. So that night, I have my coworkers bring me everything: ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, A1 sauce, barbecue, everything. And I feel an entire metal tub full of sauces, no labels, just 100 ramekins of random crap with a note that said, just do as you're told. I quit the next day. I heard they found it and most of it went bad, and Mike was absolutely pissed but couldn't do anything. Also, on a side, why would it go bad? All of those would not go bad in a day. Also, side note, my favorite day working there was when Mike threatened to fire Kelsey for taking too long to poop, and she cried outside the chain smoking cigarettes. Mayor Charles Colden, the amount of unprofessional BS that goes on in restaurants nonstop. Having to say, can I bring you a ramekin of sauce every day made me forever hate the word ramekin. It's such a dumb word. Tuba Majuba says, no, that is the real name of a little thing to put my sauce in. Oh, that's funny. All right. Next we have AITAH AITAH for never disclosing to my grandchildren's father how much I plan to give my grandchildren toward their futures. Probably not. Why is it his business? My daughter died when my two grandchildren were young. Oh, that's really sad. I'm sorry. My son-in-law remarried and created a blended family of hers and theirs. My husband and I knew our daughter had left some money in a trust for our grandchildren's future, but she was young when she died and didn't have a lot to leave them. So we decided to make sure they would receive a very comfortable amount from us once they reach 18. That's very kind of you. This was to help college or pay for a house or allow them the ability to train for their dream careers. We never told our son-in-law. I don't see why you need to. It's not his money. This was done so that we would not be asked to split the money between all the children, so our grandchildren would not be prioritized less by his father or his wife. This money was not supposed to act as child support or money for the household is for my grandchildren. Our oldest grandchild graduated 2 years ago, and we gave her access to the money, and she never told her dad. Our youngest child graduated this year and was quick to set up a high interest savings account. He made the choice to skip college and pursue a different path toward his career. This led to conversation where my son-in-law learned about the savings. My son-in-law's wife was furious with my husband and myself for not disclosing the money to them years before. Dude, you're not even related to them. Why are you mad? My son-in-law was hurt. We chose to do this instead of giving something to all the children. All the other children still have their parents, both of their parents alive. He said us not telling him added to his hurt because he hoped he would want all the children to have the same start in their adult lives. But they're already at a disadvantage. He felt like we should have told him and his wife could plan accordingly. My youngest grandchild moved in with us after the trouble started, and both my grandchildren have discussed the issue with their dad several times. He insists my husband and I should have told him AITAH. Like I said, I think I'm coming down with something. Yeah, take some ibuprofen, but I'm not sure if it's going to kick in or not. NTA, it's plain to see that your original plan was wise. You've been dealing with this endless rude entitlement the entire time. Fiona Elaine says the fact that the oldest grandchild didn't tell dad after receiving the funds speaks volumes. Yep, exactly. Linwood says, yes, it does. You've got to wonder why the oldest dad and stepmom didn't wonder where the money for college came from. The oldest lied or deflected question. That too speaks volumes. Also, if you were thinking they'd realize any funds had planned for the first two kids could be used for the younger, I bet they didn't plan at all and were just happy the oldest two didn't ask for financial help after graduating high school, except the younger one chose a different path that would indeed rig questions that scholarship or extra job wouldn't suffice. Yeah, I don't think they did anything wrong. They planned for their grandchildren in lieu of their mother planning for them. That dad was getting money all along for those kids because most likely his former wife, had worked enough to. I mean, she had kids. She worked enough to get Social Security. So he was getting Social Security all that time. Where did that money go? You know? Next, we have benign existence. My mom and I call wrapping presents shampooing the carpet. When I was a kid, I heard someone on TV using it as an excuse, like saying you have to wash your hair or walk the dog. I'd never heard of it before, and to me, it was the funniest thing ever. So when I got close to Christmas, Mom would say, "Don't go in that room. We're shampooing the carpet," and it just stuck with us. Oh, that is funny. We did get our carpet cleaned once, but I think it was steam cleaning. I still found it funny though. That is funny. Don't go in there. Shampooing the carpets in there. You can't go in there because that's where all the presents were. We had ours in the second bathroom that nobody uses. Well, except me. I use it, but the kids never go in there. They use the one closer to the living room. So we just stashed all the gifts in there. And now my kids will know where to go and look when they visit without us being home, which they do. Oh, I got a new subreddit I discovered called Evil Buildings, and they can either look evil or they can be used for evil purposes. So this is the Wall of Eternal Chill. And I think we'll have one every episode because they seems to be a pretty active subreddit. But yeah, I get it. I get it. The evil eternal chill. Oh, that's funny. Um, didn't say where it was from. Most of them have at least some explanation of where they're from, but this one does not. All right. Next we have Just No Mill. Mill asked us to hire a babysitter for Christmas Eve dinner. And it's flared, am I overreacting? Okay, so I really need to vent about my mother-in-law and our Christmas Eve. I'm just so baffled and hurt. I need to know if I'm overreacting. We have two kids, a 10-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy. They're completely normal, well-behaved kids. They say please and thank you without being prompted. They can get excited and loud sometimes, but they're kids. I mean, why are you having Christmas without the kids? The kids are the only reason for Christmas. We're invited to her house for Christmas Eve dinner. She actually asked us ahead of time to get a babysitter for the kids for a family holiday dinner. I was completely thrown. This is the woman who spent years begging us for grandchildren. We were the first of her 5 kids to have any. Now we have 2 of her 3 grandkids, and she acts like the presence is a huge inconvenience. That's terrible. My asking for help is, in fact, basically non-existent. Maybe once every 6 months, I'll ask her to sit with them for an hour or two. Last time I asked, it was so I could get a haircut. Her face dropped like she was disappointed that I asked. Since she was so irritated, I just stopped asking. My husband said she raised her kids and she's done. I know that. I'm not asking her to raise mine. They're in school and go to daycare afterwards. They were in daycare full time before start school. Like, yeah, you raised your kids. I get that. I get that I've raised my kids. I don't want to raise, more kids. But I also watch my grandchildren all day, one day a week, like all day, like sometimes from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, just because of their schedules and how many clients she has and how much, what he's doing. Um, but asking your a grandparent to watch your kids for an hour or two is normal. Like that's what grandparents do for their kids. That's crazy. I get it. She's retired, single, has a busy social life. I respect her time, but you don't get to desperately want grandchildren and then treat them like party crashers at Christmas. Yeah, no kidding. We couldn't find a sitter on such short notice and on Christmas. Who's gonna watch kids on Christmas or Christmas Eve? People don't want to do that. They're with their own families. So we brought them after getting her okay. She was perfectly polite to them all night, but I was so annoyed by the whole thing. I just stayed in the living room watching Christmas movies with the kids while she cooked in the kitchen. It didn't feel right. It felt like we were uninvited guests. Her youngest daughter, who has a newborn, was there too. I didn't ask if she was asked to get a sitter, and I don't care. My own grandma is gone now, but she would have never dreamed of telling my mom to leave me with a sitter for a family holiday. She lived for her children and grandchildren. Has anyone else dealt with this? A grandparent who wanted the idea of grandkids, but not the actual reality of them. I feel so misled, and my husband just stays neutral, which isn't helping. Yeah, you have a husband problem too. I'm just sad for my kids. Edit. My kids go to school. They're in daycare after school program after school. Edit 2. They're vaccinated. Edit 3. We asked one distant relative to babysit, but stopped after that. Edit 4. She does prefer adult only parties and cocktails, but this is Christmas Eve dinner. She has tried to plan adults only vacations, but we don't go. She's super excited to be an empty nester, and I'm happy for her. Yeah, but oh, I can't imagine being that way with my grandkids. They're my babies. I love them. They're also their parents' babies. I realize that. They're not just mine. She funny says she sounds like she wanted grandbabies, not grandchildren. She's the absolute worst person. The chief mandate says this is one of the few stories here that completely leave me confused. Most can be explained away by mother-in-law being self-absorbed, narcissistic, overall bad person, etc. I don't even know how to explain this one. What grandparent wouldn't want their grandchildren over for Christmas? Exactly. It's weird. It's weird. Next, we have petty revenge. We always CC'd the boss on mistakes. Thought we always CC'd the boss on mistakes. I worked on a team with Rosie years ago. Rosie was the kind of person who wasn't all that smart, but had done the job for a long time. She was happy to dodge any position that would give her responsibility and elated to be able to catch anyone making a mistake, no matter how small. Every single mistake that came to Rosie's attention generated an email to the person who made the mistake with a CC to the supervisor. Things like typos, spreadsheets that didn't contain all the fields she thought should be given, even when there was no data for those fields. It was annoying, but the sup put it up with it. Superior? I think it's the superior. I moved on to another team and was shocked to see Rosie's name come up years later. The team she worked on was low on work, so she was put to do data entry for my current team and when she finishes her tasks. The work on the current team has a lot of manual input of names, dates, dollars, amounts, etc. Usually when I see an error, I figure that everyone is human and just fix it and move on with my day. Well, unless it's Rosie's error. Then I email Rosie with a screenshot of the mistake and a detailed reason why it was wrong. I let her know that I'll fix it. Just wanted to bring it to her attention. I make sure to CC her supervisor on it. Is Rosie happy? Probably not, but hey, she's the one that let me know years ago. We always CC the boss on mistakes. Yeah, that's petty. If it's like an ongoing problem and they're making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, then you get your boss involved. But it's like if it's a one off mistake or a typo, clearly a typo, just fix it and move on. Don't be petty, Rosie. Automanica says, my wife worked with a person who did stuff like this, except she really didn't have a lot of work except near year end. So she would try and find mistakes in areas that really were not her responsibilities, but would get everyone running in circles over the drama and make work. My wife had enough and got another job offer. Once they found out that she was leaving, mostly because of this coworker, they offered my wife her position and temporarily laid off the offender, among others. She never came back when the other people returned. Somebody answered, I work with someone who CC'd me on emails to our admin when she has complaints, and I don't know why. Maybe because I used to be the union rep. I actually took over for her when she got in trouble with the union, but I'm not anymore, so I don't know why she still does it. Reaper says, I once got an email asking for some report or whatever. I usually answer emails like that immediately because I worry I'll forget. I can relate to that. So I dropped everything and found the report and mailed it off here with a here you go. 3 days later, I get a snotty message about how I'm not giving her the reports she needs with my manager and my manager's manager CC'd. I reply all baby and CC to her manager and her manager's manager, attaching my original response of all of 5 minutes after she asked. A few minutes later, she sends a, oh, sorry, I didn't see that email, but only to me. No, bitch, we're CCing everyone remembered, so I added everyone back. And says, not a problem, we all make mistakes. Got a little smiley response from my manager. Oh, that is some petty revenge right there, for sure. Next, we have Am I the Jerk? Entitled AITJ for making my father in law explain his joke about me being dumb until he got embarrassed and left. This is the best way to deal with somebody who's trying to insult you, who's definitely trying to insult your intelligence. I, 26 female, dropped out of college when I was 19. Long story, but basically I had to work full time to support myself and couldn't afford tuition. I'm not proud of dropping out, but I also don't regret it because I did what I had to do to survive. I worked my way up in sales and now make good money without a degree. Good for you. That's actually how I met my fiance, 43 male. That's a pretty big age difference there. We started dating when I was 24. About 6 months in, his sister accidentally brought up in front of his family that I never finished college. It was awkward AF. Yes, I dropped out. Yes, he knows. Yes, he doesn't care. He has his degree but respects that I took a different path. After that, his mom and some aunts were weird for a few months, making comments about the importance of education whenever I was around. My fiance eventually told him knock it off, and things got better. He proposed last year, and 4 months ago, we found out I'm pregnant. We told his family right away. His siblings were happy, but his mom pulled me aside and asked if I was sure I was ready to be a mother without a degree. I was like, yeah. She gave me this whole speech of how she wants to make sure I can provide intellectually for the baby. Like, she graduated high school. There are plenty of people that don't graduate high schools that are parents, and not getting through school doesn't necessarily make you dumb. There are a lot of very, very intelligent people that drop out of school. It's okay. And not everybody needs college. Clearly, this person didn't need college. Last week, we were at his parents' house with the family and friends talking about baby stuff. We were joking about what traits the baby might get. My father in law said something about his whole family is really good at math and his kids all got that gene. Then he goes, but how do we know that the baby will be smart? Could go either way, and looks at me. Him and his brother start laughing. That's rude. My fiance got pissed, but before I could say anything, I was like, I don't get it. Father in law goes, because intelligence runs in families. I said again, I don't get the joke. Explain it. He got nervous and was like, it's just a joke, OP. Come on. I kept saying, but everyone laughs, so it must be funny. Explain what's funny about it. Some of his friends started saying, yeah, it's not cool, and he got embarrassed and left the room. Later, my fiance's brother in law came up to me and said I was wrong for embarrassing father in law in his own house. Who cares whose house it is? He just said something dumb. I knew that I knew what the joke meant because I dropped out, and I shouldn't be surprised when people question my intelligence. Now they're all saying I need to apologize to father-in-law, AITJ. No, he needs to apologize to you. Salty Signature said, you could have the highest IQ out there and still don't need to go into higher learning for education. Some people learn from reading. NTJ. Kombucha Bot says, some people don't read at all and are just smart. Some people can't read and are smart. Intelligence has many forms and is not synonymous with education. Exactly. And some people have different kinds of smart. Like, I know people who can do sales really well. They don't have an education. They don't even have an education in sales. And it's okay because they are very good at selling. And that's all they need to do. That's, a example of like a specific intelligence that someone can have. And then you have Donald Trump, who's dumber than a rock but still president. External Pen says, and this is long, guys. If you've not read it before, I recommend Isaac Asimov's article, What is Intelligence Anyway? It's a great discussion of exactly this point. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a useful place to link, but we'll try and copy and paste the text below. Oh, so we don't have to look it up. So this is What is Intelligence Anyway by Isaac Asimov. What is intelligence anyway? When I was in the army, I received a kind of aptitude test that all soldiers took, and and against a norm of 100 scored 160. No one at base had ever seen a figure like that, and for 2 hours they made a big fuss over me. It didn't mean anything. The next day I was still a buck private with KP, kitchen police, as my highest duty, kitchen police. All my life I've been registering scores like that, so I have the complacent feeling that I'm highly intelligent, and I expect other people to think so too. Actually, though, it doesn't. Don't such scores simply mean that I'm very good at answering the type of academic questions that are considered worthy of answers by people who make up the intelligence tests, with people with intellectual bent similar to mine. For instance, I have an auto body repairman once who, on these intelligence tests, couldn't possibly have scored more than 80. By my estimate, I always took for granted that I was far more intelligent than he was. Yet, whenever anything went wrong with my car, I hastened to him with it, watched him anxiously as he explored its vitals, and listened to his pronouncements as though they were divine oracles, and he always fixed my car. Well, then, I suppose my auto body repairman devised questions for an intelligence test. Or suppose a carpenter did, or a farmer, or indeed almost anyone but an academician. By every one of the tests, I'd prove myself a moron, and a moron I'd be too. Not a moron, just ignorant in certain things. We all are. It's the ones that can't admit that they don't know something that are the problem. In a world where I could not use my academic training and my verbal talents, but had to do something intricate or hard working with my hands, I would do so poorly. My intelligence, then, is not an absolute, but is a function of society I live in, and the fact that a small subsection of that society has managed to foist itself on the rest of us as an arbiter of such manners. Consider my auto body repairman again. He had a habit of telling me jokes whenever he saw me. One time he raised his head up from under the automobile hood to say, "Doc, a deaf and mute guy went into a hardware store to ask for some nails. He put two fingers together on the counter and made hammering motions with the other hand. The clerk brought him a hammer. He shook his head and pointed to the two fingers he was hammering. The clerk brought him nails. He picked out the sizes he wanted and left. Well, Doc, the next guy that came in was a blind guy. He wanted scissors. How do you suppose he asked for them? Indulgently, I lifted my right hand and made scissoring motions with my first two hands. Whereupon the auto repairman laughed raucously and said, why, you dumb jerk? He used his voice and asked for them. That was my first thought." Then he said smugly, "I've been trying that all day on my customers. Did you catch many?" He asked. He said, "Quite a few. But I knew for sure I'd catch you." "Why is that?" I asked. "Because you're so goddamn educated, Doc. I knew you couldn't be very smart." I have an uneasy feeling he had something there. Oh, that's great. No, I knew right away that the well, but I have experience in blind. I had blind roommates in college, so I know how blind people act. And yeah, they'd ask for it. The other person didn't ask for it because he was mute and couldn't talk. And now it's already time for expectation versus reality. Okay, and it says I've spent $1,000 to have this memorial made. Oh, I hope it's good. Here we go. This is our little chinchilla who sadly passed away. Bye bye, chinchilla. Is this like, yeah, it's a fake chinchilla. I mean, they did a good job, but that's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of disturbing. Ew. I commissioned a memorial for my late chinchilla. Pick one shows the one I gave them. Picks two and three are what I got. Is this artwork worth it? I mean, at that point, why didn't you just have him stuffed? Taxidermy's a thing for a reason. And it says, edit, thank you for all the comments. This is a needle felted piece made from pure wool, not a taxidermy. But it should be a taxidermy. I chose this way to remember him because we shared so many wonderful moments together. And I wanted these memories of love. I'm afraid of what happens when our parents die. Chemicals guy said, well, I thought all three pics were of a live animal. It does kind of look live, not gonna lie. Peach's Peace Parfait said, I was gonna say that's good taxidermy. Never mind. It's incredible needle felting instead. Absolutely worth the money, in my opinion. All right. And now it's time for this. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually around noon Eastern time. I will not be on Tuesday because I have to go see the vampires, but I will be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. Usually not on Mondays because I have the kids. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. And if you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. The email address is also in the description. And please tell everyone you know, especially if they're lonely. And now we have our real estate. It's entitled A Complete Complete with home tiki bar. Here we go. It is basically $5 million, 5 beds, 4 baths, 4,441 square feet. It's got a little kiddie pool. And the front matches the back. It's awfully close to the road. It is very tropical looking. It's also kind of a plain house, if you ask me. That's a nice little foyer area. I like the floor. That's okay. It's giving Brady Bunch. Is it giving Brady Bunch? Because I think it's giving Brady Bunch. I mean, it's not the Brady Bunch house, but it is giving large Brady Bunch vibes. It's a big. Why can't we see the view? Is there no view? Why are all the curtains drawn? That looks ancient. Like this is a 70s house. Like I've been in this house when I was a kid. Mm. Ew, why? Why would you have chairs like this? It's so weird. Oh, this permanent bench is kind of nice. I mean, not comfortable. You need to put something on it, but it's nice. Why? What is the point of this picture? It's so weird. Yeah, why not just put that one in? What is the point of the other picture? This is so Brady Bunch, though. Is it not? Am I lying? Oh my gosh. I'm definitely gonna have to send this segment to my friend. We're always talking about the Brady Bunch. It's one of our things. No, I'm not interested in touring that home. I've been in that home. Let's see. Oops, not that. Go back to the listing. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, which they didn't even show hardly any of it. It's by Thomas Berwick and Pratt Architects. Oh, the 1957. I was wrong. It's a 50s house, which is probably why I've been in it. Because don't go to new houses, only go to the old houses. Oh, that is so weird. It does have a full basement, which I don't think we saw. It's only on like a third of an acre. It is near private golf course though, so you can go golfing. It's on a third of an acre and it has an outdoor pool. Well, that must include the basement and the square footage, I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. Scratch says, whoever took these pictures gets it. Really gets it. AM 50s 150 says for sure the photographs have the same vintage feel as the house, and it just adds to it all. It's true. They're not lying. Somebody says I would wear the wang out of a turtleneck in this house. Oh. Oh. Savern Drake says gorgeous house, and Marceller says only if it includes all the furnishings in the pictures. Not wrong. Southern Smoke says the OP says and the car. It's definitely giving Brady Bunch. I've got to send that to my BFF. For sure. Shoot, I think I can go back and find it. I'm gonna send that one to her. Our next read is from Traumatized and Back, entitled "Building Manager Gave Me Attitude for Years, and I Finally Decided to stop taking his crap." It's flared matched energy. Not an exciting recount of events, more of a vent about having to put up with a cowardly man who tries to bully women. Sounds like a nice guy. I'm sure he's a green flag, right? Like any other decently polite human being, I did my best to remain polite despite my building manager constantly being rude. I suspected it was at least partially due to misogyny because he spoke to women who approached the desk themselves the same way, but his tone was perfectly amicable, and he even laughed and joked when men or women who were accompanying my men approached. Perhaps he was taking out his own misery on those he felt were easy targets. Anyway, every time I approached to ask a question or fulfill whatever I needed as instructed by the strata, he would be gruff and look like he was in bad mood. Whatever, we all just want paychecks. I tried not to care, but hated seeing him and avoided the common areas for years, which was ridiculous because I paid for those areas. He would make it so hard to actually get any help. When I asked a question, he would cut me off and say things like, "None of my business," or "I don't know," or "Why did you ask me?" So you can tell them who to ask? That would be kind. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? Because honestly, why would anyone talk to you unless we needed to? Once I ended up sending an email to the manager of the company in charge of him at his own request because he refused to listen to my issue and instead cut me off saying, "I don't know. I just do what Jane Doe tells me to. If you have an issue, contact her." My issue was actually outlined in the strata rules, so it actually was his job to do it. Jane Doe asked me for details on his refusal to help me, but I wasn't sure, nor did I care if anything actually happened, except that I hoped that he would help me without making a fuss next time. Cue another unavoidable situations a few months later, and it was clear that if Jane Doe talked to him, it had no or minimal effect. I tried asking him about a fee that was posted on the notice that I was sure applied to me. He asked me rudely why would I need to pay. So I tried to explain why I thought I needed to pay. Kept cutting me off and not even trying to clear up my confusion, and I finally snapped and raised my voice back at him, and every time he tried to cut me off, I snapped back, telling him to just answer my question and do his job and stop yelling, etc. He tried to talk over me and deny that he was yelling, but I continued to snap back and called out everything he was doing in real time. Whatever attitude he gave me, I gave back, and my distaste toward him was very obvious. After that, he got real quiet. Still does not treat me with respect, visible by the difference in tone of emails he sends me versus the emails he sends to the male member of my family. Is scared outright to disrespect me anymore, and I have a hunch that my visible distaste gave him a reality check and he didn't feel big enough to bully me anymore. When I cited his weaponized incompetence in the follow up, I had to get something from him that was unavoidable, but he never had it prepared. It seemed like I might get angry again, and he immediately tried to assuage me and scamper to solve the problem as quickly as I've ever seen him help a lone woman. Coco Almonds Rock says, "Document and send to Jane. She needs to be fired if he needs to be fired if he's that useless." OP says, "I have documented and emailed myself the interactions I had with him for a timestamp, but when I wrote it, I thought it was coming from a place that was too emotional, so I'm currently just keeping it in the back, ready to go if he tries anything again. I'm recording all of our interactions from now on." Good, good. Top ad says, "Men are so hormonal sometimes." Smilesaurus says, "He was being hysterical." Dice Mechanic says, "That's amazing. I've never heard that before. Definitely needs wider usage." Emotional is another. Mantram is another. Dice Mechanic said, "I had an older female colleague who used to say to all the angry blokes at work, 'Oh, you are emotional today,' when they lost their tempers and instead instantly disarmed them from their tantrums. I wish she still worked with me so I could supply these terms to her and she'd bloody love it." Oh, they say women are emotional. You seen a man? They're responsible for like all the wars. Next is confession, entitled I lied on my resume and now I'm trapped in my own success. I got hired for a job I genuinely wanted and have been doing for a few months now. I should be happy. Instead, I feel like I'm walking around with a giant flashing sign that says fraud. I hurt myself on that. The confession part is simple. I lied on my resume. Not like I speak fluent French when I can only order coffee. I stretched my experience in a way that got me through screening and interviews, and I know it was wrong. I was stuck in a loop of applying and getting rejected, applying again. I kept hearing we need someone who has already done X. The problem is you can't get X without someone letting you do X. So I changed a few lines. I took a project I helped with and made it sound like I let it. I bumped my title on one previous role, not wildly different, but enough to look at a step up. I also used a tool called as proficient when I'd used it in a tutorial and a couple of small tasks. I don't know, that could be proficient. I don't think you lied there. In my head, it felt like I was just translating what I could do to the language employers want to see. In reality, I know I crossed the line. The worst part is it worked. I got hired. I don't know. I think that's the best part. My team is actually nice. My manager is supportive, gives clear feedback, and doesn't humiliate anyone. The pay is the first time in my life I feel like I can breathe. I'm not rich or anything, but I can buy groceries without calculating every item. I can say yes to a friend inviting me out without panicking. I don't want to lose that. I also don't want to keep lying. I keep thinking, okay, I'll prove myself and then it'll even out and then the lie won't matter anymore. But that's not how integrity works, I know. Day to day, I'm doing fine. I ask questions, I take notes, I stay late sometimes. I've been quietly learning stuff I claimed I knew. I watch videos at night, I read documentation on weekends. I practice on a dummy account, but every meeting I'm terrified someone will ask something super basic and I'll freeze. And if I do answer correctly, I still feel sick because it's like I'm wearing someone else's ID and getting away with it. There are moments where my manager says, great work on that, and I feel this sharp guilt like I'm stealing praise. I'm also scared of the practical consequences. If this ever comes out, I'm not just embarrassed, I'm fired, maybe I'm blacklisted. I'm the kind of person who used to return an extra dollar if the cashier gave me too much change, so I don't even recognize myself here. The pressure got to me, and I did something I never thought I'd do. I even started del- deleting old messages and being weirdly careful about what I wrote sometimes because I'm afraid of leaving a trail, which is gross and paranoid and makes me feel worse. I don't know what I'm asking for because I don't know the right answer is don't lie. I know. I already did it. I just need to say it somewhere because I can't tell anyone in real life. My friends would judge me, my family would freak out, and I can't risk my job. I feel guilty even typing this, but also relieved. I keep thinking about the person who maybe got rejected because it took a spot I didn't deserve. And I keep thinking about the one background check or one to call in an old coworker could blow up my life. I hate I'm in this situation. I hate that I put myself here. Here's the thing. Lots of people lie on their resumes, like almost everyone. You almost have to in order to get a job. Like you said, you can't do X without somebody letting you do X, and everybody expects you to have X. It's like people who I've seen listings that say you need 5 years of experience, and it's a starter job. No one is going to take that job. It's a starter job, and no one that has 5 years of experience is going to want that job because it doesn't pay enough, and they have way more experience than the job requires. So unless you're in a bad situation, you're not going to take that job. It's incredible. No, OP, you're fine. You're actually doing the job. You're doing the job. Everybody seems happy. Go with it. Go with it. This is not a lie that you need to feel guilty about. It's not hurting anyone. The only one you're hurting is you by overthinking it. Don't worry about it so much. You're doing fine. You're doing fine in the job. You didn't take a job away from anyone else because they can get that job. They can get that job anywhere, and you can't. And obviously, you're qualified enough. You're doing it. All you did was stretch a little bit. You didn't lie. You stretched the truth a little bit. Return of the Living Dad says, You're overthinking this. People exaggerate to varying degrees on their resumes all the time. Focus on learning all you claimed and more and being the type of team player your employer values. And the OP says, I need to hear this. I'm closing the gaps fast. I just hate the guilt. The only one that's making you feel guilty is you, sweetie. You have to let go of that and do better. Do better. That's all that guilt is. It's telling you to do better. Next time you'll do better. But this time, don't worry about it. Gerald Shan answers her and says, it's a job. Don't overthink this. Literally everyone has touched up their resume to make it more appealing. No one is judging you for this, and you shouldn't judge yourself either. You did what you had to be done, and you should be happy it paid off. It's just life. Keep the integrity for things and people that actually matter to you. Yeah. Bliss Nuzzle says, this is such a healthy perspective. It's wild how common it is to tweak a resume a bit just to get noticed, especially when the job is brutal. What matters is you're showing up, doing the work, and growing in the role. No one remembers the resume after that anyway. Exactly. Exactly. Now we have interesting AF. And it's a Nerf gun final boss is what it says. Oh, I gotta turn on my sound because I had it off. I have the sound off on that too. Darn it. I have the sound off on this too. Okay, there we go. Let's start it over. I guess there's just no sound on it. I think my son would really like this. He apparently shoots his children often. They're not quite to where they can load the Nerf guns themselves. So there's that. And yes, I can't see everything on the screen because the other screen is in front of it. And then there's just a bunch of emojis with Gatling guns for comments. Oh, next we have Am I the A-hole? AITA for quietly leaving a group plan after being left out of the conversation. Probably not. Probably not. I'm still not sure if I handled this the right way, so I'm here for an outside perspective. Last weekend, a small group of friends, 5 of us in total, made plans to meet up for dinner and then walk around a local street fair. The plan itself was casual, but it was something we all agreed on earlier in the week. I cleared my evening for it. The day of, we were coordinating through a group chat. I messaged asking what time we were meeting and where exactly, and no one responded. About 15 minutes later, I saw 2 people in the chat sending memes to each other, so I figured they'd seen my message and would answer soon. They didn't. I sent a follow-up 20 minutes later asking if plans had changed. Still nothing. At that point, I assumed maybe everyone was already together and just forgot to loop me in, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I went ahead and drove to the general area we talked about, thinking I'd figure it out when I got there. I parked, walked around for a bit, kept checking my phone. Eventually, I saw on social media that 2 of them were already at the restaurant nearby. I didn't want to cause a scene or make things awkward, so instead of confronting anyone, I just went home. I didn't announce that I was leaving or send a passive-aggressive message. I figured it was better to cool off about it later. Well, leaving was kind of passive-aggressive, but it's okay. The next morning, one friend messaged me why I ghosted the plan, and I said it was rude to disappear without saying anything. I explained that I asked multiple times for the details and didn't get responses. And I didn't feel comfortable showing up uninvited once it seemed like things had already started without me. They said I should have spoken up more directly and that leaving without saying anything made it look like I didn't care. I said I felt like I was already being sidelined and I didn't want to beg for attention. Now the group feels a little tense. Some friends think I overreacted and should have just walked up to them anyway, while others say it's reasonable not to chase people who aren't responding. I'm on the second one. I didn't intend to punish anyone, I just didn't want to force myself into a situation where it clearly wasn't being included. AITA for leaving quietly instead of pushing my way into the plan. No, but in this situation, I would probably, before I gave up, I would probably ask someone outside of the group chat what was going on. 'Cause sometimes you can get a better answer that way if you do it directly. But they should have answered her. It's stupid not to. You can't assume somebody else is going to answer. Thoreau says they're gaslighting you. You asked the group chat where to meet. They didn't respond. You asked again. They didn't respond. You saw on social media that they were already at the restaurant and correctly inferred that if they wanted you there, they would have replied in the group chat. Your feelings were hurt rather than being confrontational. You went home to cool off. Don't let them blame you. You not saying a word at the time doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you didn't want to accidentally say something you might regret later. They were assholes. You are NTA. um, I mean, yeah. Either contact someone directly or taking the hint. If you don't want people to take a hint, don't give any hints. Lil Mush Bloom says the gaslighting is for real. If they had missed OP, they would have texted or called as soon as they noticed the absence. They clearly weren't concerned about it at the time. They're not really friends with OP or would have reached out at least to confirm OP hadn't been in a car wreck or something. Yeah, really. If one of my friends don't show up to something, I'm texting them, asking where they're at. Hey, you okay? Yeah, that's sad for OP. You need better friends. You need better friends, honey. Next is from Overheard, entitled Santa is a Stalker. At a party, family's there. Christmas music is playing. This girl, maybe about 8 years old, is listening and suddenly has this epiphany. Girl, wait. Santa is a stalker? No one replies. Girl, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. I about died at the horrified look on her face. Wait till she finds out about the date rape song. Yes, there's a Christmas date rape song. If you know, you know. Counterpoint says there's a problem with some song lyrics. Another example is some couples want Sting's Every Breath You Take played at their wedding. Go listen to that song. The man himself interviewed said in an interview with Sting said in an interview the gist of every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you. That's a stalker, clean and simple. Uh, Confusable Fraggle says one way or another, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Same vibes, creepy. There are a lot of creepy songs if you actually listen to the lyrics. uh, Nana Shroom says, well, that's a stalker song by a woman, Debbie Harris, who had a restraining order at the time for stalking. So, yeah, pretty creepy. um, Michelin Ways says, while we're on that subject, am I the only one who thinks Ricky Don't Lose That Number is pretty clearly a post date rape song? And somebody says that one feels like a stretch. Yeah, it might. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the words. Remember Tony Orlando's and Dogs Rock Knock 3 times? And Lionel Richie's Hello. No, those are not stalker sign. Well, Hello maybe a little bit, but Independent Mix says those are cheating songs. Knock 3 times, definitely a cheating song. Somebody says Santa is not a stalker. He is the stalker. Santa's Skynet. Substantial Desk says this is what I've been saying for years, but my wife keeps telling me I'm overreacting. Wait till they find out about God. He sees you when you're pooping. Next is True Off My Chest. I think I was sent a sign tonight to end my relationship. I feel sick, but I don't know how I could possibly ignore it. The first 4 paragraphs for context, skip to paragraph 5 for the freaky sign stuff. Oh no, we're reading the whole thing. We're reading the whole thing. I'm 25 female, dating someone 25 male since we were both 17. That's a long time, girl. It's a long time. We are family in every sense of the word. His nibblings even call me auntie. All the parents think marriage and kids are right around the corner for us. Life-wise, I'm pretty lost. I started bartending to help pay for college, got my associates, and decided to take some time off and never went back. I'm qualified for nothing. I still bartend and sleeping until noon most days. That's okay. Bartending is a perfectly reasonable occupation, especially if you're good at it. I put so much pressure on myself to find a real career that I can settle down and have kids. I'm in a smaller southern town, so I'm really behind. So you can get a job bartending anywhere. Just saying. About 8 months ago, I approached boyfriend with the idea of moving out of state so that I could attend a certain school and pursue my career dreams. I've always said I don't want to stay here forever, and he's always acted understanding, but I learned quickly that he has no real plans to leave ever. This agonized me for months. I looked at apartments behind his back and fantasized about the move and what life could look like. Ultimately, I decided that choosing school would be selfish. Oh, honey, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It would break his heart, shock our families, and mean that I wasted over 8 years of this man's life. Okay? Lost time fallacy. No. Sunk cost fallacy. That's what it is. Sunk cost fallacy. Not to mention that I would be completely alone for the first time ever. I surrendered to the small town life. Tonight I was visited by an old friend at work. He joined the military 2 years ago, and I've only seen him once since it was a shock. Oh, so it was a shock. He started asking me about school and career, and I shared that I had wanted to move but decided to stay. I was vague. He told me how much of his life has changed since joining the military, seeing new places, meeting new people, getting out of his comfort zone. He told me you don't realize how small your world is until you leave. And then he looked me dead in the eye and said, "You need to get out of here." Good guy. Green flags for this guy. And red flags for the boyfriend who is not supporting his girlfriend, his longtime girlfriend. The conversation left me shaken, but then I drove home one of my coworkers who is neurodivergent. Our conversations are always interesting, but especially because he is incredible at reading people and will tell me about his reads. Tonight we talked about random stuff, not his solution. We get to his house, he gets out of the car, and then he leans down and says, "A word of advice. Trust your instincts." Then he shut the door and walked away. I wish I could properly convey my shock. I stared out my front windshield with an open mouth for a while, and then I cried the whole way home. It was like a wave of realization that my life is about to change. I feel sick to my stomach, but what about what I have to do? I feel heartbroken already. What a mess I am in about to create. I don't see how I could ever ignore what happened tonight. These were not signs, these were just conversations giving you advice and good advice. You're 24 years old, you have your whole life in front of you. Why are you giving up? Why are you giving up all your dreams and all your expectations for this boy who won't leave home, who won't support you leaving home? You're doing the right thing, girl. Get out. Get out. Live your life. Obviously don't belong in this town. And you can get a bartender job anywhere. You can get a bartender job, help put you through school. Bartenders can make good money, especially at really good restaurants, and you can do that. You already have the experience for it. You're a good girl. Go. Acidic atheist potato says something I've told my 20-year-old daughter many times because I wish I had told it to me is that you're not here to fulfill anyone's expectations but your own. Others will always have and change expectations for you, but none of them will affect you. It'll affect them. It'll, excuse me, only affect you. So set expectations for yourself and go fulfill them. You are the only one in charge of your happiness. You're not responsible for other people's happiness. Pure Aura says, I don't know how much I needed to read that right now. You are not here to fulfill anyone's expectations but your own. Thank you so much. And that's not even OP. That's somebody else. Bo Jenny says, I told my 18-year-old niece something similar. She was in her freshman year of university and hated all her classes. She let my sister-in-law talk her into a business major. I told her this was the time to pursue her dreams and figure out what she wanted her life to look like. She'd married a kid now, but she told me several times that helped her stop prioritizing herself and setting boundaries with her mom. Good, Bo. Thank you, Bo, for doing that for your niece. Yeah. Uh, so what do I do is the same as what should I do. So I guess we got to find a different what do I do. Apparently the original went in the wrong, or the update went in the wrong. Oh no, that's an update too. They're copying and pasting to two different subreddits. Shame on you. Why would you do that? Uh, this is what do I do? They're very similar subreddits, I know. We do both of them because usually they have different stuff. This. I gotta make my notes. All right. I won't do anything. All right. Put my flags back. All right. This is from What Do I Do? And it's entitled Girlfriend Bought Makeup Supplies on My Card Without My Permission. How'd she get your card? And again, this is just a girlfriend. Full disclosure, this is my first relationship. Me, 24 male, and my girlfriend, 21 female, have been together for 10 months. I'm trying to figure out if I'm overreacting here or if this isn't such a big deal. I checked my bank account this morning and saw a charge for a bunch of makeup supplies. At first, I thought my card got skimmed or something, but it turns out my girlfriend used my card to buy info to buy them online. She never asked me. Didn't give permission. She just did it. Dude. When I confronted her, she acted like it wasn't a big deal and said she assumed I'd be fine with it because it's not that much and we've been dating for a while. The thing is, it's not about the amount, it's the fact that she used my card without even running it by me. It feels serious boundary being crossed because it is a serious boundary being crossed. She didn't ask you. She did not ask you. If she'd asked you and you said, yes, that's fine, give her an amount. What if she overdrew your account or something? What if it was a debit card, not a credit card, and she overdrew your account? That could cost you money. Also be considered fraud. Now she's upset with me for being stingy and making a big issue instead of letting it go. I'm sitting here wondering if this is a red flag or if this is one of those relationship things people just tolerate. No, no, this is financial abuse, not to be tolerated. Interesting cut says red flag. Yeah, so get a new card because she has that card number stored somewhere. Exactly. Quaffle the unruly says also get a new girlfriend. That's theft, my son. Exactly. Yep, it is. Thefts, financial fraud, financial abuse, all kinds of stuff. Lucky Device says this, she's done it once, she'll be doing it again. Exactly. You knowing, you know I'm right. I like that guy. I'd ended the relationship right there. Exactly. Upbeat Fondant answered, right, this person I trusted stole from me. What should I do? Gee, I don't know. It's a real conundrum. OP, you better freeze your credit and go over with a fine tooth comb. I personally would give her the opportunity to pay back this amount plus any interest or dispute the charge and report it as fraud. She can deal with the consequences. And yeah, I don't think you can do this one as fraud, but um she broke a trust and that you're not getting that back. You're not getting that back. So I are mildly infuriating. Entitled IRS bill for 00000 owed. I'll share with you the screenshot or the L0. Failure to pay penalty was $15 and interest charges were $18 on zero amount. The interest charges are more than the failure to pay penalty. and claim they owe $34. How is 0? That doesn't make any sense at all. I do not understand. Never posted here. Oops. Seems mildly infuriating, especially when their phone system never allows me to talk to anyone. Just try again the next day or pay my bill online. Steps to reach a live agent. This is helpful. Dirt Road Pirate. Steps to reach a live agent. Call the main IRS number. Select your language. Press 1 for English. Choose option personal income tax. Select form, tax history, or payment. Press 3 for all other questions. Press 2 for all other questions again. When prompted for your Social Security number, do not enter any information. After it asks twice, another menu will appear. Press 2 for personal or individual tax questions. Press 3 or 4 for all other inquiries. Recent reports indicate 3 might be the current prompt. Wait to be connected to a live representative. Here you go. Reason is tricky is September. Is step 7. It'll ask you for your Social Security number. Do not enter it, and it'll take you to a secret menu, and you will get someone. Arethe can't respond, says the most helpful support lines are the ones that make you literally unlock the secret ending to talk to anyone. Try talking to the FedEx. It will literally hang up on you. You cannot talk to FedEx. They will not let you. And then they're like, if your package gets misdelivered, oh, check around to your neighbors, see what happened there. Bring it to my house, and I won't have to do that. Fighting Hellfish says, this looks like a legit invoice. I'm guessing you paid the initial total late, so they received that check, but now you owe them for being late with your previous payment. And Balthar says, my thought as well, previous late payment, which paid off the initial balance, but carried over the late fee and interest. Preoccupied Penguin said they could just F off. Could they just F off? Carried over the late fee. Bitch didn't do anything. This is wild nickel and dime as yes. Edit. Y'all seem to think I'm dumb and I don't know how the IRS works. I get he owes late fee and interest. I think it's mildly infuriating that he has to deal with it because it's a bill sent for fees that he can't talk to anyone about, and it's dumb AF. You can disagree or explain all you want. It doesn't change the fact that this $40 is a stupid thing to have to pay. You don't need to give me a lesson in finances. I got it. It's an opinion. Don't worry, I pay my taxes on time. Jesus. Well, at least you won't flunk out of school in Florida. Because you invoked Jesus. Somebody said they're deleted. You know what's crazy is that they're effing with you, wanging with you on something so tiny. Meanwhile, Musk and Zuck get to pay minimal taxes. Exactly. And $40 for them is literally nothing. Next is Am I Overreacting? Entitled AIO for wanting to cut this friend off for falsely accusing me of self-harm. So they do have some texts going on here. Scars, no. So there's a picture. They're not scars. I drew flowers. No, they are scars. I can tell. I was absolutely horrified, dear. What made you do this? You're self-harming. I drew flowers with blade. They're literally not. WTF. Did you bleed? Not flowers, right? I'm not continuing this conversation further. I'm sorry, dear. They're clearly just drawn on flowers. What happened? You can share with me, please. They're flowers I drew with henna, not scars. Don't assume I'm self-harming myself. You're being so rude to me. Well, you're being a jerk. Jerks get to be rude too. There isn't any way I can help you to stop from harming yourself. It didn't look that way. She's not. She told you she wasn't. She told you it was henna. I'm not being rude. I'm negating your false accusations, which is hella insensitive. What's with the red blood color? Is that blood clotting reason I'm doubting? What? No, I'm not accusing, dear. I just care about you. I thought I deserve to know the truth. You don't deserve to know anything about anyone ever. That's entitled. I pray the wounds heal soon. There's no wounds. I just hate to see you suffer. That is not blood. You can tell that that's not blood. Spider lily is my third favorite fave flower. There's no damage there. That is clearly just drawn on. Some people in a black and white picture are the same. Last two slides are images I posted on my story. Female here and my friend, 28 male friend. I put it friends in quotations because we're not close friends, just mutuals who speak from time to time. Replied to my story and kept accusing me of self harm, even though I was deflecting his accusations. It feels like weird behavior to me, and he thinks he knows my actions better than I know myself. Would I be overreacting if I silently cut him off? I was actually being too rude for standing my ground. No, she wasn't being rude at all. He was being rude by insisting after he got the explanation that she lied. Not overreacting. I had a guy do something similar to me once. He would analyze my pictures and swear he saw bruises or marks he claimed were from some kind of abuse I refused to admit. He kept saying he deserved to hear the truth because he was just concerned for me and cared and wanted to help. You don't deserve anything. That's entitlement. In the end, he sort of had an inception with the idea of rescuing troubled women. So he really was trying to force his imaginary narrative, and it was uncomfortable, and I had to block him. Opie answered, God, that's insane. I really sorry you had to encounter a man like that. And Tipsy Baker says, looks like you're having the same issue. Probably the same guy. There's probably only one guy like that. A1 Sauce says, is that a real conversation with a real person? They don't seem real. Their responses are completely detached. Maybe they're just trolling you or they're really, really stupid. No, that sounds like something an idiot would say. I've encountered people like that before. No matter what you think, no matter what you say, they know it all and they will insist till the cows come home that you're lying to them or whatever. I think you stumbled onto a conversation with a non non-person character. The only thing that makes sense, or they're initially effing lying with you for whatever reason. Either way, I don't see why you would continue to interact with that someone that moronic. It also wants me to vote, so NOR. I'm a Nemu. Sadly, I met people who text and speak like this. No appointment says, call me dear and I'm out. It's 99.99% creepy most of the time. I think you mean it's creepy 99.99% of the time. Oh, yeah, that guy's a creep. Get away from him. He's scary. Now I have best of Redditor updates entitled Me, 25 male, with my girlfriend, 24 female. Recently, I met my work partner's wife, and the differences in their personalities is making me jealous of what kind of relationship I could have. Me, find out where the original post was. Okay, this is from our relationships. The original post, January 14th, 2016. I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years, and recently I've been wondering if she's really the one. I didn't doubt that she was until recently, started a new career, and got a new partner at work, 29 male. He's been married for a year and has been with his wife, 28 female, for 7 years. We, him and I, spent over 40 hours a week together and became fairly close. We've been talking about double dating so our significant others can meet. And when I brought it up to my girlfriend, I'll call her Sarah, she was really against the idea. In all honesty, she's been against this new career change in general, even though I make more money and get more benefits, because she doesn't like the hours. And she says everyone in my profession cheats. When I brought it up that, she became very distant and said something along the lines of, I don't remember the exact words. Why would I want to spend time with these people and give him, my partner, the idea that he's so close to me, can never know me better than she does? What? That doesn't make sense. It really didn't make sense. But after talking about it, it seems she felt like she was being replaced by my partner because we have to spend so much time together, and I only get to see her 2 or 3 times a week with my schedule and her part-time job. And she's going to uni in full-time in the fall. How old is she? 24 and she's just starting university. That's weird. So, I mean, better late than never, but it's unusual and you shouldn't be complaining. I assured her that she was my number one and that he was just a cool guy I'm forced to be with due to circumstances. Is the OP bi? Otherwise, why would you care? I'm not sure about that. We didn't talk about it again for a couple of weeks. Then a few weeks ago, I was at the bar with my cousin. She was invited, but she doesn't like my cousin because she finds him too boisterous slash candid. I ended up bumping into my work partner and his wife my first time meeting her. His wife is very unlike my girlfriend, much more extroverted. She immediately got very excited when my partner told her who I was and told me about all the funny stories she heard about me. I was kind of thrown off about how open and friendly she was, since my girlfriend sort of convinced me that her feelings of not wanting to meet associate with them were normal. It's not normal, though. Do you not have enough life experience to know that that's not normal? I'm confused. And like every girl would feel that way, I guess. I don't know. But his wife immediately launched into how we have to all get together finally, and watching the two of them together was just so opposite of how my girlfriend and I act. They animate each other like two-person comedy act, and I found myself becoming a bit jealous. Yeah, some people are like that. Some people just have really good senses of humor, and they pick a partner that also has a really good sense of humor, and they kind of feed off of each other. And they're fun. I did get a little tipsy and admitted to his wife that my girlfriend was worried about the cheating that people associate with my friend. And she sort of laughed and said people say that same thing to her, but she trusts my work partner and she just laughs it off when people say things. At the work the next day, the partner ended up telling me that my cousin I was with at the bar was talking to his wife and confessed to his wife that he doesn't even like Sarah. News to me. Well, Sarah doesn't like him, so why should he like her? And things and that the things my cousin told her, he didn't specify, worried her because she was really looking forward to hanging out together, and now she was afraid my girlfriend wouldn't like her. Well, she's already decided she's not going to like you. I pressed him for more details, but he either didn't know or didn't want to say. That night, I mentioned to Sarah casually that bumped into them and that his wife really wanted to meet her. She didn't like this and again told me she was too busy and had no interest in pretending to be best friends with people who think they're so close to me. Girl, they're going to be closer to him than you are because they're nicer people. I dropped it because it was late, but it started to get on my nerves about how opposite these two women are and react to things. But then yesterday happened. My work partner and I had a really early meeting in a city about an hour and a half away, and the night prior we weren't getting out of work until 10 p.m. My work partner offered me to stay at his house because we had to be up at 4:30 a.m. Yeah, and he lives an hour closer? Yeah, for sure. I was stressing out because I didn't have time to iron a suit, and I called Sarah and asked if she would go to my apartment. We don't live together, but she has a key, and set a suit up for me. It's crucial we look put together at work, and I knew she wasn't doing anything that night. This is something that you would do for your boyfriend. It is. If he's in a jam and he needs something done, this is what you do for people. It's not that it's not he's not like asking for the moon. Asking you to go put a suit out for him so he can grab it and go. She got really angry. First that I was staying over at my partner's house, and then that I was treating her like a slave. I've never in my life asked her to do anything like this, and I'm still very new in my position and I'm stressed out. She said she had too much work to do and refused. I ran home after work, grabbed my stuff, and drove to my partner's house. I guess I was visibly agitated because his wife asked me what was wrong the minute I arrived, and I just spilled about everything about how stressed and exhausted I was, nervous for tomorrow, and how Sarah had snapped at me and wouldn't help me. His wife just said, "Okay, we will have to get back to that Sarah thing in another time, but go relax and I will get your suit ready." See, what a nice woman. What a nice woman. I tried to argue because I felt really bad, but she wasn't having any of it and started to flat out ignore my protests when she got the iron set up. Good for her. She's a green flag. You need to get to know this woman better. I bet she has good friends. Hint hint. Not Sarah. Not my Sarah. My Sarah's good. It just showed me again how different they are and what a supportive partner actually looks like. I got off really early today and I have barely talked to Sarah all day. I'm now I am I am just drinking beers in my apartment alone, something I rarely do. And you probably shouldn't be doing that. I'm wondering if this relationship is even worth it anymore. I don't have a crush on my partner's wife or anything, but she seems to possess all of the qualities I feel like I want, and I'm finding myself getting really jealous or annoyed. But after 6 years, I really don't want to throw everything away, but this is something that we can work through. Edit. I'm seeing a lot of recurring questions, so instead of answering each of them, I'll leave this here. We don't live together because prior to this new job, I didn't make as much, and my apartment is very small and not meant for two people. And she is doing her master's and only works part time for low pay and doesn't want to pitch in for rent so we can move to a bigger place. Well, that's kind of rude of her. She lives at home with her parents. Even with my new job, I can't afford a bigger place on my own yet, while also paying for student loans, utilities, my car, which is a necessity where I live, etc. Yeah, I get that. There's nothing wrong with not living together when you're not married. Nothing wrong with that. For some people, it's helpful, and for others, it's not. Also, I know two to three times a week, seeing each other is not a ton, but we spend all of my days off together. We didn't see each other more than this prior either because my old job was still 40 hours and I was also going to school. People think it's strange that I mentioned her being introverted as if it was a bad thing. It's not. I used to think I was happy not seeing our friends often, but my job is social in nature and I find I'm enjoying being more outgoing than I used to be. And that's fine too. You find out, you learn things about yourself all throughout your life, and that's okay. This doesn't mean I go out every night. I see my friend's cousin maybe once every 2 or 3 months, 1 or 2 months, or that I go to bars and clubs, but it does bug me that anytime I suggest doing anything, she makes an excuse like she doesn't like the person, has no interest in meeting new people, doesn't feel like seeing her friends, doesn't feel like getting dressed up. She's tired. I want us to do new things together. She sounds depressed. She sounds a little depressed. Maybe she's depressed and needs to talk to a mental health professional. Additionally, I've asked a lot about what I've done to support her and why I expect support. Let me make it clear first that I've never asked her to run an errand or do anything before me. I asked this one time because I was exhausted and stressed. I didn't expect her to drive an hour to drop off my partner's house. Just leave it on my bed so I could grab it on my way home. For what I was supposed for what I do to support her, I've helped her many times with research for papers when she was stressed over school. I've taken a week off work when one of her relatives died and she needed to be with someone. I've taken her car to go get it fixed numerous times, etc., etc. I call or text her whenever I can, which is multiple times a day, and I talk to her every night when I get off. I don't even spend tons of times off duty time with my partner. I don't even spend tons of off duty time with my partner. The one time at the bar was literally the first time I've seen him outside of work. We have just been talking about, oh, the work partner. We have just been talking about getting together for ages. I hope this clarifies some points a bit. Update January 21st, 2016, 5 days later. Sorry it's been a little while, but I decided to update after the past week of what's been going on with me and Sarah. First, I wanted to add the edit that I included in my OP since people were asking the following questions. Okay, so that's all repeat stuff. So now that's out of the way. I'm not a spy or a hitman or something crazy. A few of you tried to convince me that I am an asshole for not disclosing my job since apparently I can't be given advice without saying it. What does it matter what his job is? That's just weird. I described so many details in my last post that I hope people can just give me at least 1 ounce of anonymity. My career is known for cheating only because of the unpredictable hours. Some scumbags, apparently a lot of them, on Yahoo Questions and Wedding Bee, and other cesspools of advice show up on Google using these hours to their advantage. He's probably a salesperson. They're gone a lot. Or a trucker. Probably not a trucker, though. They tend not to have partners. Oh, I got caught overtime tonight when really they were out cheating. This is not a prevalent thing in my experience, but my girlfriend was Googling my career spouse, came across hundreds of articles, most of them benign, and latched onto the few that said we all use our schedules for the sake of cheating and nothing else. Just because some people use things to their advantage doesn't mean everybody is. It's called projection. Anyway, on to the update. I'm not delusional. A lot of you told me that the only reason I admired my work partner's wife is because she showed her best face to me in public. Of course, this is true. I don't expect anyone to be perfect. What stands out to me, however, is that there are a lot of downtime in my position when my partner and I BS. Every single thing that he has ever said about his wife is positive. Naturally, I would hope this for the case for anyone, but I see the way he talks about her that I do not feel that when I talk about Sarah. He ruminates about their vacation and silly stories, random nights they have together, and I realize that I don't get to enjoy any of that with her. Okay, all relationships are different, and you really can't compare your relationship with somebody else because your relationship may have advantages that theirs doesn't. And I mean, the guy's smart. He's not complaining about his wife, which is a smart thing to do. I find that when I complain about my husband, I don't like him. I like him less if I'm complaining about him. So I tried to stop complaining about my husband, and our relationship actually got better. Weird thing, huh? It's just weird. Sarah doesn't like being out of her comfort zone. She doesn't like being spontaneous. She doesn't like being silly. Okay, dump her. Red flag. Everybody gets to be silly. It's fun. What do you think we're doing here? This is just a bunch of silliness right here. I never knew that this bothered me before, but when I saw how funny and silly they acted together right in front of my face, it just confirmed that I couldn't actually have fun in a relationship. This made me realize that I am not having fun, and that sucked. So after I slept over at my work partner's house, Sarah wasn't talking to me except for sending me passive aggressive texts about she hoped that I enjoyed my romantic evening and that she hoped he was worth it. So weird to be jealous of your husband's work partner or husband, I guess it's not husband, boyfriend's work partner. So bizarre. Many of you indicated how insecure she must be that we can spend barely any much time together, and suddenly it seems like I'm becoming close to someone new when after 6 years, maybe we weren't as close as we could have should have been. I took this to hurt and I saw her point. So the next time I was off this past Sunday, I took her out to brunch, one of the few activities she likes to do, bought us some mimosas to break the ice, and I tried to talk to her about the way she's been feeling. I started the conversation saying, I know it sucks that we can't see each other as much as we wish we could right now. And believe me, I wish that could be the case. However, I feel like this is causing more tension than it used to, and I want to know what you've been feeling about all this lately. I was hoping for an honest conversation where we could both learn from each other and move forward with compromises, but she just unleashed. She told me that she doesn't think I have a reason to be close to anyone but her. No, you don't own the person, dude. Red flag. Oops. Red flag for thinking she owned them. And what did I just do? Okay. I don't know what I hit, but it opened up a new window with the original text, which isn't even on the screen. I don't know. I don't know. That was weird. She told me that she doesn't think I have a reason to be close to anyone but her, and that my partner sounds like a wanging, her words, not mine, that just wants to wang me. A wanger that just wants to wang me. That his wife is probably just fed up with not getting any dick from him and is trying to move on me and on and on. What? She's cheating. She's got to be cheating. She has got to be cheating because she just wouldn't have these thoughts if she wasn't. In retrospect, I feel like she's just very insecure, and this was her way of attacking me and trying to hold me back so I could reassure her. But at the moment, I couldn't think of a way to respond. I tried to deny what she was saying, explain to her that it wasn't the case, and that what I could do was show her. But she just kept verbally assaulting my partner and his wife, and even me for entertaining the idea of being friends with them. I stopped talking and we ended up finishing our meal in silence, her fuming and me just feeling awkward at this point. Afterwards, we got back into my car and I just started driving towards her house. She noticed we weren't going toward the direction of my apartment and she just started yelling at me for trying to drop her off and not wanting to spend any more time with her. Why? Why should he? You're accusing him of cheating. Why would he want to spend time with you? You're weird. You're weird, Sarah. At this point, I've had enough. I drove her to her house in silence, her berating me the entire way, and then listened to her continue to scream at me for 10 minutes after we pulled up, until finally getting out, slamming the passenger door, and going inside the house. I went back to my apartment, spent 30 minutes on the phone with my sister, 2 years younger than me, asking her WTF should I do? And then decided, probably cowardly after a long relationship, but really not wanting to be screamed at anymore, sent her a long text message about my reasons for breaking up with her. Good for you. Good for you, OP. She's clearly cheating. Her accusations are projection. She didn't take this well and blew up my phone over and over until I just turned it off completely. The next day I had work and I tried to talk to her about things back and forth over text, but she kept deferring back to her state of cursing me and insulting me. In the end, I told her I just could no longer be a part of her life and I blocked her. That was 4 days ago and I haven't heard from her since. She deleted her Facebook though. And honestly, I felt a lot calmer these last days than I have in a long time. It makes me feel guilty at times. I'm also kind of excited that I can now act however I want to act from now on without somebody looking down for me for it. Well, you should have been able to do that all the time. Your first red flag was that she looked down at you for acting like yourself. Final comments. Made you read peen. Change your locks. Other than that, let me reiterate that the crap that I said, they got buried the first time around. Hey man, you can have a relationship like your partner has, but probably not with Sarah. Sarah isn't growing as a person like you are. I've been describing my wife seven I've been with my wife 17 years. We grew together. We were both extroverts compared to what you're describing, but my wife is far more introverted than I am, even being more introverted. She's happy and welcoming to all my friends and has many work friends that she introduces me to regularly. She is more interested in staying home, but will always join me with friends. I work a demanding job. Although my wife is anything but a clean freak, I will often come home to the laundry being done on the day I'm supposed to do it. If things were rough, I do the same for her. If she has problem with someone in my life, it's for a damn good reason, and I cut that person out. My youngest sister's boisterous. I mean, she's 19 and crazy. We just had dinner with her and her new boyfriend Tuesday. I've never seen my wife dislike someone for anything but a serious reason. Exactly. And this woman dislikes them before she even meets them. Like, what's up with that? It's weird. The most important thing to me is my wife, but extremely close second is my best friend that I've known since we were 4. Aw, my best friend is a pretty girl. How did my wife handle this? My best friend immediately became my wife's best friend too. Aw. There was never a day of jealousy from either one. They formed their own meaningful and important relationship. Seriously, they're closer to each other than anyone else on the planet. They spend every moment together with or without me. It sounds to me like you've grown and realized what you need in a partner. It sounds like Sarah wants something and needs something else. And honestly, it sounds like Sarah isn't grown up yet. I don't think she's bad. Now I think she's unhinged. I just think you're becoming a grown up and you're starting to realize that love isn't the only thing relationships need. You're starting to realize you need someone to be on the same page as you, and you need a positive person that wants to support you succeeding. Sarah sounds negative AF. Also, if I'm being honest, sounds like you've become more successful in your life with this new career, and it sounds like Sarah didn't want that. Sounds like Sarah didn't want you to grow because she knows she can't grow herself, and therefore she can't keep up, which is what's happening. Sounds like Sarah doesn't trust you not to cheat on her. Exactly, because Sarah's cheating. I still say she's cheating, otherwise she wouldn't have those thoughts. Or she lives with somebody who cheats. One of her parents is cheating, something like that. Why be with a person who doesn't want you to be more successful? Why be with someone who doesn't trust you? It also sounds like if you want to keep your relationship with Sarah, you should stop talking about the drama because career-wise, it will negatively affect you if people knows you're into dealing with a relationship drama like that. Thank goodness you didn't want to be in that relationship. Holy homophobic hell. By the way, holy crap, I was waiting for an update on this one. OP. Oh man, I forgot about that part. I asked for her key back when she was yelling at me in the car, so I have both. Just because you did, thanks for that. No, I don't want to keep the relationship. I want someone like your wife who is open to new friends once in a while. I don't expect my SO to like everyone, and that's fine, but they should at least meet them before they make a decision. Exactly. Now you're getting it, OP. I didn't think I'll have another update unless something really crazy happens that changes my mind. Unfortunately. Right now I'm feeling a lot better than I would have expected. I wonder if there are any. No, that's only 2 posts. That's the only time he's really done anything on Reddit. It's kind of a bummer. I want to know where he's at now because that's been 10 years. Where you at now, OP? What you doing? We'd like to know. Email us. The link is in the comments or in the description. This is from Made Me Smile. It's entitled All It Takes Is Patience, Confidence, and a Little Help. I actually have this one queued up. No, I don't. I didn't do the case or sound. No, actually. Oh, why does it give me fits? Hold on. I'm gonna do this instead. There we go. Okay, here we go. It's called Show Them Movement. That was dumb. Why did I do that? I forgot to share it. And just so you know, out of my regular medication, so this will probably get worse before it gets better. Before I can go to the store and get some. She keeps lifting her feet up because she can't jump out. Just move it. Bend your knees. Oh, she's doing it! That was nice. Looked like they were in a mall or something. It's very nice. I love it. Yeah, I gotta get this back. There we go. Okay. That was very nice. Very fun. That's all I got for today. So anyway, like I said, that's all I got for today. Have a good week. I will be here Wednesday. Don't forget Wednesday because I have to go see the vampires on Tuesday. And I have the littles on Monday. So, as usual. That will be permanent. Because of the situations. So take care. I love all my biddies. Bye. Have a good weekend. It feels like we just had a weekend. Bye.